Been a little clumsy at the last couple of flights of hurdles. The Greys, 3 or 4 from the back at this stage. Le Fambois has pulled Alan Johns around the outside in the red and grey to join 2 Scoops, who races there with Joshua Newman just in behind Bowie and Charlie Deutsch as they come to the third last at the top of the hill. Lock Kent is a length off from Red Jacket for Freddie Mitchell in 4th place, and then comes San Benedito and neck behind in 5th. They're followed through by Laser Blazer, Minella for Leisure with Hurricane Hollow, and Thundering Home has now just about dropped through them. He's almost last at this stage, but they haven't gone very fast. They're well bunched and they've all got a chance here as they're about to run downhill. They have 2 to jump. And Bowie now. Charlie Deutsch encourages him along to try and get away from his rivals, but he can't get away. Le Fambois is level with him. 2 Scoops and Lock Kent are in 3rd and 4th places. San Benedito just in behind them in 5th place as they come to the 2nd last. All over it okay, although Thundering Home was very untidy. Long run into the straight. San Benedito, Lock Kent, Le Fambois and Bowie are the leading quartet. Minella for Leisure in the stripes isn't out of it. 2 Scoops comes next. Hurricane Hollow trying to stay on from the back of the field, and then comes Laser Blazer. 2 furlongs to go. The run down to the last. The red of Lock Kent is joined by San Benedito. Minella for Leisure still getting there on the right, and then running on Hurricane Hollows. They come down to the last flight now. There'll be 3 in line. Lock Kent is nearest to us, just over in front of Minella for Leisure, and then behind those moving into 3rd, Hurricane Hollow staying on up the hill. Hurricane Hollow finishing off strongly. Minella for Leisure is just in front, but it's Hurricane Hollow and Bridget Andrews who's brought it from last to first to grab the lead and win. Goes on to win by 2. Minella for Leisure in 2nd place. Then came Lock Kent, and Pacesetter Bowie ran home 4th.
Day to remember at Cheltenham for Team Skelton. Dan and Harry teaming up to win earlier in the afternoon. Bridget Andrews aboard Hurricane Hollow. A very patient ride as well, delivered to perfection to pick off the 3 who were trading blows up ahead at the final flight. And despite a jink halfway up the run, Hurricane Hollow has done this quite tidily, Jonathan.
Hasn't he just? San Benedito pulled too hard. Lock Kent didn't convince the game with his head carriage, and just when you thought the money for Minella for Leisure might be rewarded, Bridget Andrews, last season's champion lady point-to-point rider, has stormed through to win. I think it was last season, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Winner returning up the walkway, and it's been quite an afternoon for the Skeltons, with a double. Bridget among the winners, and the 50th winner of the season as well for Harry Skelton much earlier in the afternoon. And all in all, Jonathan, it's been an afternoon to remember, because it's been, I'm putting this in the nicest possible way, in some ways it's been the second division of trainers who've been winning. Nigel Hawke, for example, taking our feature race with Anne Turge.
Well, that's the highlight of the afternoon, I think, isn't it? I mean, it might not be in that memorable roll call of previous winners of the race you mentioned, but I mean, so brave, Anne Turge, and the jump at the last, I thought, won in the race, gave him the momentum to battle on and win, and he's a real credit. We should give an honourable mention to the runner-up, French Opera. 4 years since he last won a race. He's now 12 years of age, but he didn't flinch under pressure, and he fought like a lion all the way to the line. He really did, didn't he? I mean, he was, like Shakalaka Boom Boom, a horse sort of drifting down the handicap, hasn't won for a long time, and that horse didn't really perform, but French Opera did, and made it a great race.
Nicky Henderson had the first winner of the afternoon, suffering then a frustrating and sad afternoon as well, because we lost Tistry midway through proceedings. We had Smallfield Novices chase a race itself not without incident, but we should mention the winner, Cloud Creeper, because he continues to progress in the right direction.
Could be a nice prospect for next season. I mean, he clearly has to be delivered late, which is always going to be slightly tricky, but he was a worthy winner.
And he beat Unace in the process. McCoy out of luck with his 2 rides at Cheltenham today. We're back here tomorrow, another 7-race card to look forward to. The mares get their turn in the early part of tomorrow.
First 3 races, aren't they?
We kick off with a mares hurdle, then we've got the novice handicap chase, a listed mares handicap hurdle, so quite a good staying handicap chase, 3¼ mile contest to look forward to.
Plenty worth coming back for.
Well, thank you for your company this afternoon. Have a super evening in Cheltenham.
Yes.
Good study. And you have a super evening as well. Of course, this is by no means the end of the live action on Racing UK. We've got the finale to come from Newmarket, Kempton to look forward to as well. But from Jonathan and from me at Cheltenham at least, we will now say good evening.
Hurricane Hollow, you winner 5-1. From Minella for Leisure 5-1. Loch Kent 6-1. Back in third, 9 run.
Bet £5 and get a £20 bet free when you sign up with Coral. Coral, raising the game.
The 5:40 Newmarket is the Jerry Blum Memorial Handicap. 6 furlongs, 11 runners, non-runners 7 and 9. Spiriting 9-4, 6-1 Salt Island. Properus is 8-1, 9's Kibar. Ticks the boxes 9s, 12s, Sure We Can, Magical Memory and Navigate, 16s and bigger the rest.
Spiriting is the favourite, and there he is in the hands of Andrea Zeni for trainer Luca Camani. This horse making his seasonal debut and handicap debut. So, there is Spiriting heading to post. He's making his seasonal debut and his handicap debut from a mark of 79. His best performance came second at Yarmouth, over 7 furlongs behind Bartel, and he was below that form on his final start at Nottingham.
Below that form both times, and the ground was soft boat. I think they called it good at Nottingham. They changed it early on, and it wasn't good anyway. It was soft ground, and it was soft on his debut. And on the Yarmouth run, that's the reason why he's favourite. The third and fourth have won subsequently. The time was a good time, and 79 is definitely very reasonable on that one run. So if it has been the ground, which has caused his 2 poor runs, then he has a really good chance off that mark.
And you like the trip for him?
I think it's perfect. I think 6 or 7 furlongs is fine at this time of the year. Perfect. I say if he repeats Yarmouth, to be honest, I think he's win.
OK, and then we've got Salt Island, who's also making his handicap debut from a mark of 93, and I thought it's potentially slightly tough, that.
Yeah, it's he got the rail and won decisively at Windsor. I thought we ran to a similar mark, to be fair, next time. But yeah, I've got 93, looks a little high on the balance. So yes, he's not a bad looking horse. He's got some length about him, and he's only had 2 runs we could improve. I think he needs to a bit.
Perhaps he didn't like the ground very much at Doncaster. It was soft ground, and the trader's representative did report that he was unsuited by the going that day.
That's fair. But he still ran okay, didn't he? It wasn't a terrible run. So, but yeah, and he might be better on a sound surface. Fair enough.
This is his course debut. Properus is the next horse to talk about. He, too, is a handicap debutant, this time from a mark of 83, which I thought was fine. He's shown progressive form in maidens. Yeah, 6 and 7 furlongs have been 7 furlongs, I think, was his penultimate start. Then he dropped back to 6 to win. With Kevin Ryan last year, first run for William Haggas today. The mark's OK, the ground is definitely OK, and I think the trip will be fine. There he is in the light colours, which are blue and white, just following Spiriting in the yellow and black down. Behind that is Sure We Can, who's making his debut for a mark of 93 in the handicap. That's OK, I thought, on his Leicester performance, the one behind Charming Thought.
Yeah, agreed. I think he's got... Sure We Can, we're talking about, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's reasonably handy, and I think last time out there was a genuine excuse as well. I know he's come third, but Peacock, that was a mile. I think a mile's definitely too far. I think he's more a sprinter. His runs at Maidan prior to that run, though, at behind Peacock weren't that great, and I just wasn't sure entirely what form he was in.
Yes, they were 7 furlong as well, so you could suggest that even so, that this is where the trip he wants to be at.
Absolutely. They are the reason why he might run better, but just not sure, just what heart he's in, really.
Kibar's got a Duke of York entry. He's making his seasonal debut. His best performance came at York when second behind Felix Leiter in a nursery. That horse is a non-winner in this contest here today.
He had a pretty busy season, though, didn't he, Kibar? He had a few runs. He was pretty consistent. He ran lots of good runs. Hold on. Newmarket, OK. We might be a little bit off later, I think I'm just hearing. Kibar, sorry, I just wonder if he starts the season a little bit too high because of all those, largely consistent runs. He's got less obvious upside to him for potential to improve.
Well, the message that we're hearing is that Newmarket's last race will hold for Kempton's first race, which is novel. And I think that's the first time I've ever encountered that. That's fun. Here's fun, Angus. Give us the details of the first race at Kempton.
It's all fun and games here, Lydia. Maiden Auction is the opener at Kempton. 6 furlongs, 6 runners, non-runner 2, Hughie Boy. Rock Follies is 4 to 9, 6 to 1, Whatnot, Hurricane Alert, 8 to 1. It's 9's Chapeau Bleu. 25's Acom, and Lady Bambletti is 66 to 1 for our opening contest. From Kempton, it won't be too long, about 3 to go. And just 2 actually. Tony Ennis is our commentator at Kempton in the Sunshine. All yours, Tony.
Thanks, Angus. Yeah, good evening, everyone at home as well. Beautiful evening here. Last one going in. All set then. We're ready. And they're off. Just swerving, leaving the gates was Whatnot for the 32 Red Casino Maiden Auction Stakes. A good break by the favourite, Rock Follies. She'll lead in the red jacket for Tom Marquand. Racing in second, the colour change, Hurricane Alert. Now the blue and white checks. In third is Chapeau Bleu. Now an all-red cap for that one on the outside of Lady Bramble Tie, who's in the blue and green colours and racing keenly. 3 lengths back to Acom, who was moderately away. In the back marker, the other slow starter, Whatnot, in the white as they make the home turn on the outer track and head for the final 3 furlongs. So it's the Pontefract second, Rock Follies out in front here, leading by a length to Chapeau Bleu's got closer on the outside. Then comes Hurricane Alert against the rails, the blue and white checks. Racing in fourth is Whatnot. And then comes Lady Bramble Tie, and Acom is last as they swing for home and head for the final quarter mile. So up front it is still Rock Follies, just chased along now. And here comes Hurricane Alert in the centre. Nearer to us is Chapeau Bleu. The favourite's got a race on her hands here because Chapeau Bleu is coming home strongly near side. In the centre, that's Hurricane Alert. Far side, Rock Follies. But it's Chapeau Bleu who's got to the front now, entering the final furlong. And Chapeau Bleu is asserting here for Sheen Murphy and going 2 or 3 lengths ahead. Whatnot is staying on the far side, might get second, but it will be Chapeau Bleu for Seamus Durack who wins. Second home was Whatnot, third was Rock Follies, fourth in was Hurricane Alert, and they were clear of Acom, and last of all was Lady Bramble Tie.
Chapeau Bleu wins the first at Kempton Park at 8 to 1. Right, let's go back to Newmarket for what is a Class 2 6 furlong handicap with Spiriting the 15 to 8 favourite, Salt Island 7 to 1, Properous 7 to 1 and 10 to 1 and upwards the rest. The amount of time, diminished time that we've got left to talk about.
One more horse. I mean, I like Spiriting. I like one more horse. I thought Tick the Boxes had a bit of a chance. I think he's pretty well handicapped. He'd already proved himself in handicap company of 86, and I think he only got a £4 rise was more than fair.
Any others? There are some more still to come forward.
Navigator, I wondered if the trip would be on the sharp side for him. He was progressive, but I don't know about that. Spring Load has already been held off this mark, so you wonder whether he's been well handicapped.
I don't know about that. I think there might be some upside to Spring Loaded just yet.
OK. Wentworth looked really progressive till the last 2 runs. On his wins, he wouldn't be badly in.
Much delayed, 5:40.
6 furlongs. They're off, racing George Dryden a bit slow to go, so too was Properous, ticks the boxes very alertly away under Adam Kirby. Magical Memory the grey is Handy Kibar, just behind Sure We Can, who's burning towards the stand side now, joining ticks the boxes, and Navigate towards the outside, and Sure We Can and Navigate Sure We Can going on from ticks the boxes. Then on the outside, Yellow Dart Spots is Spiriting, followed by Magical Memory. Out wide 2 is Salt Island, and then further back in the field, Properous trying to recover from a slowish start, followed by Kibar, who's perhaps over racing slightly. Then on the inside, Spring Loaded on the right. Out the back is George Dryden, and Wentworth Falls is also towards the rear of the field. Navigator's got across to the rail. In the noseband leads to Spiriting right there, every chance. Salt Island making a line of 3, chased by Magical Memory, Sure We Can, and Properous, who stays on Salt Island, taking it up, entering the final furlong, and is soon a length and a half lengths clear and pulling away, and Salt Island is going to win this in some style here. Salt Island and Jamie Spencer drawing right away to win by 3 to 4 lengths. In second it was Properous, maybe just ahead of Spiriting. Magical Memory in fourth.
An impressive winner to end the card here at Newmarket. Salt Island wins for Charles Hills and Jamie Spencer by some way from Properous, who's just nabbed second ahead of Spiriting near the line. Salt Island, I was worried about whether the handicap mark was slightly tough. Hilarious! He has just laughed all the way to the line.
I think we've seen a very, very progressive and improving sprinter. The two horses who were second and third, are very well back spirits and who's travelled very well, had every chance, you know, perfectly ridden by Andrea Azzeni, and Properus, who looked pretty well handicapped and likes these conditions and has run really well there. Both horses who had an upside to them, definitely, and they've been beaten 4 lengths, I think they said. I didn't hear the time. I remember being here with you when Saki Secret won this race. I'm not saying this is another Saki Secret, but he's a heck of a lot better than 93, that's for sure.
Yes, clearly he is. I was just looking to see if whether he's got any fancy entries. Nothing that I can see, but I think he will have after this, because this is impressive stuff. He's returned at 7-1, and he's given a proper beating, as you say, to 2 horses who look to be pretty well handicapped on what they've achieved so far. They've run their races. They've just found a horse that's thrown in. It must be the ground. You know, you have to conclude that the trainers representative at Doncaster, who felt that the performance was depressed due to a soft surface, back to this kind of surface, and he's put up a better performance.
You're absolutely right. I can't